Greetings, my name's Craig Tote. I'm an activist for Fully Informed Jury Association, and you're watching CreativeUnderground.tv. Folks, don't be shy. You can take a free brochure out of my hand. Why should the ATF harass you for owning a firearm? Become a juror. Take one. Thank you, sir. Have a good day. Please read and circulate to others. Hey, greetings. My name's Craig Tote. I'm an activist for Fully Informed Jury Association, and we're at Holiday Park in beautiful Fort Lauderdale on Saturday, January 22nd, 2011, in which the War Memorial Auditorium is having the quarterly Suncoast Gun Show. Well, the main idea of what we do is get people to know their rights as a juror when you go to court. And in these places, they claim that we're soliciting. We're not making any profits. We're doing everything legal under Chapter 3 of City Ordinance of Fort Lauderdale. If you want more information on it, go to munico.com, and it's all plain and simple. In addition, we have these, the supreme law of the land, the U.S. Constitution, Amendment 1, and the Constitution of the State of Florida, Article 1, Declaration of Rights, Sections 4 and 5. This is my documentation that represents my natural born rights. The state shouldn't tell you how to think. You have a conscience. So if you want a brochure, go ahead. You can take one out of my hand for free. If not, go to FIJA.org. No victim, no crime. Fully Informed Jury Association. Free information on your rights, which the judge won't tell you. Don't be shy. I'm not here to get paid. I am volunteering on my own time. It's usually this is brochures we pass out at gun shows and other civil rights organizations or functions, and it tells you about how can you supersede the laws in the books, which you believe is considered illegal. It happened with Bernard Goetz. They tried to get him for murder. He'd been mugged a while back during that time in the 80s. Then the few of the assailants were asking for $5 each, and they had screwdrivers in their hands. They're not using to go to work. They were usually going to take somebody out. So Bernard Goetz had no choice and shoot the individuals. 2 of them died, and 1 of them was paralyzed. When they brought it into the criminal court system, the jury even said not guilty because there was enough evidence stating that these gentlemen were habitual criminals and they didn't even care. They want to take everyone for granted, including witnesses that were black. It doesn't matter about race, but they only use the race issue. And she said they got what they deserve. I see him do it all the time. So the message can be sent. Any firearm laws is considered illegal, 25,000 of them. You can say not guilty to the accused. 1 person can hang a jury. In addition, even the grand jury, you don't have to indict them. If you believe what that person did was illegal on his natural born rights, you can say, hey, don't indict him, acquit. That's what powers of a jury is.
You say I choose my battles if I had a choice.
I have a comrade of mine named Scott Kuna, all right? That's how I pronounce his name. And I'm glad he showed up. He wants to, represent Fully Informed Jury Association. So what is your motive for being here?
Well, my motive is to stem the tide of tyranny by informing the good folks that are going to serve on the juries of what their duties and their obligations are to their fellow citizens, and in fact what their rights are in judging the law, so that they are not just judging someone as to whether or not they broke a unjust law, but whether or not the law itself is just, and so that they'll use the full power that the jury has and was enshrined with when the country was created. I recommend to the people in the state of Florida that they stand up for their rights, otherwise they'll be taken away, and we'll be living in a police state unless we flex our rights and we know the laws and we enforce the law of the land and not the law of the government knows best people that want to control every facet of our lives and protect us from ourselves. You know, I believe that personal responsibility and self-government trumps the nanny state and the big brother mentality.
Okay, good. One more question. So, there was rumors that President Obama is going to have a State of Union address to push for tougher firearm laws because of what occurred in Tucson, Arizona.
Right.
What's your statement on that?
Well, my statement on that is if more people had been exercising their right to bear arms, then that tragedy could have been prevented or possibly stopped before this guy ran out of bullets by an armed citizen that was defending himself.
Okay, very good. Well, here you have it, man. Thank you, Mr. Kunis. The state shouldn't tell you how to think. You have a conscience. So if you want a brochure, go ahead. You can take one out of my hand for free. If not, go to fija.org. No victim, no crime. Fully informed jury association. You know, what's really mind-boggling about this sign. It says reward $1,000, help the Fort Lauderdale Police Department stop gun violence. Violent crime should be the key, not gun violence, because if you look at the crime statistics with the Department of Justice, more people in Florida are murdered by someone else's bare hands than a firearm, okay, and even non-firearm related material, but they will mainly focus on gun violence. And on all due respect, that's considered partiality or bias. And what we need to do is let the citizens know that this is what they're going after, in my opinion. Firearms, not crime. You got to do across the board.
Notice it says illegal firearm.
Right. So what we need to do is let people know that violent crime is the key, not gun violence. And to be very sincere, it's the citizens of the United States of America. They have a duty to prepare themselves from all forms of tyranny. If you leave all your security eggs in the hands of the government, it could be the road to blowback. If you study 20th century genocide, such as what happened with the Armenians in Turkey, the German people in Germany and Europe, Soviet Union, mainly Ukraine, most of the Ukrainians, the individuals from Uganda, and of course the latest one, Rwanda, where around 800 to 1 million people got slaughtered with machetes by tyrannical thugs around, I would say around April to June of 1994. And what's the first thing they took advantage of? Victim disarmament. They were law in the books before they got in power, and they took advantage of it and started chipping it away. We're not supposed to trust the government, but watch them in good faith. Once again, this is Craig Tote, an activist for Fully Informed Jury Association, and you're watching CreativeUnderground.tv. Thank you for your time. If you want more information on this prestige organization, please go to the website at www.fija.org or call 1-800-TEL-JURY, also known as Tell Jury, only with one L. Thank you, folks, and positive blessings.
My name is Skip Robinson, and I'm down here with James Cox, and we're at the Palm Beach County Courthouse in West Palm Beach, Florida, and we are here handing out FIJA literature, which stands for the Fully Informed Jury Association. And our intent is to give jurors, potential jurors, their rights as jurors. And jury nullification is the essence of what we're trying to teach. And not only do you have the right to judge the guilt or innocence of the person, but you have the right to judge the law itself. If you find that the person is being prosecuted for a bad law, well, you can find that person not guilty just because, and you don't have to give any reasons why you found him. You can just say not guilty. You can what's called hang a jury. and that hanging jury makes the judge have to decide, and the prosecution have to decide whether they want to retry that case or not. So you can keep, the United States has 25% of the world's population, prison population is here right in the United States, and therefore we obviously have too many people in prison, and this is one way to keep people out of prison who are have been involved in victimless crimes, for lack of a better word. And so I'm here trying to spread the news and get people involved. It's, you take 1 hour a month or 1 hour a week or whatever you can handle and get out the word. So the Fully Informed Jury Association, it's a great organization. It's one of the few things that is actually working in our society, and it helps us to retain our inalienable rights and get out and do it, man. Get out or donate to the organization, or come out and spend some time handing out literature, learn about it. It's very simple. It's not something that takes anything, but everybody should know about this. This is a simple thing that every juror on the planet should know about. So thank you for your time, and have a good one.
My name's Donnell. I'm from Miami. I was handed this pamphlet to inform me about my rights as a juror. I think it's a very helpful pamphlet because especially the part where it says, most judges will tell you that you can only consider the facts and not use your conscience. I mean, to be able to come to a sound decision, you got to be able to use your conscience. It just doesn't make any sense. And I really appreciate getting this. It's very informative, and I'll keep it in mind.
Libertarians want to remind people today is Jury Rights Day, and juries can and should vote their conscience if they believe a law is unfair. A member of the AV Libertarian Party was spreading the message in front of Lancaster Courthouse this morning. Dressed in clothes from the 1700s, Jason Gonella passed out leaflets to inform people about jury rights.
A jury can refuse to convict if they feel a law is corrupt. It's an important and powerful check on the government. There was a case not too long ago up in San Francisco or Sacramento. It was an important drug case where an individual was licensed to grow drugs for medicinal purposes, but the federal government tried him anyway. Afterwards, the jurors were apologizing for what they had done, apologizing for the guilty verdict they had brought forward. There is no reason a juror should have to apologize for a verdict. They should and can and legally have a right to vote their conscience.
Jury Rights Day was inspired by the trial of William Penn in 1670. Penn was tried for preaching Quakerism, which was illegal at the time. The jury refused to convict him, and some jurors were put in jail because of their decision.
Today is September 5th. It's Jury Rights Day. And today the Ron Paul meetup group went down to the courthouse and did a little sign wave. We had a good time. We had one interesting experience with a frumpy old lawyer who came up to us and decided that he was going to declare his First Amendment rights and started spewing a bit of foul language and his non-appreciation for us. In fact, he called us liberals. That's nonsense. I was wearing my Ron Paul t-shirt autographed by Dick Heller, but I don't know, I guess Second Amendment makes me liberal. So we had a good time, and maybe a few people recognized that VJA was a good organization to take a look into. Thanks to Carl, Krista, Ellen, we had a good time, and we maybe educated a few people. Happy Jury Rights Day.
It's jury selection day in Cheshire County. Cheshire County, New Hampshire, that is. But unlike in other counties, as these jurors line up to be selected, activists like Christopher here are providing them with information about jurors' rights. That means when they go in to be possibly selected as jurors, they will have at least had a chance to be informed about a thing called jury nullification. Christopher, what is what is jury nullification?
Jury nullification, as far as I understand it, is the right of the juror to judge the law also. if they don't see the law as being fit, they can vote their conscience and say, no, this person is not guilty. We don't agree with the law. So it's another way of, the citizens almost voting for, what they believe in. That's kind of the way I see it.
Law and fit, vote to acquit.
Correct.
So how many times have you guys been out here to do jury nullification? Or how many times have you been out to do jury nullification education?
This is month number 11. Next month it'll be a full year that we've been doing it. And it's been 3 months, I believe, that they have not held jury selection for one reason or another. So I think all in all we've probably given out probably about 500 pamphlets, probably, is my guess.
So what that means is when a juror goes in there, if they understand their rights, then what they can do, if they disagree with the law that's a person's being prosecuted under, they can simply vote not guilty. They can vote to acquit. Now this is something that judges generally try to hide from juries. They won't let them know that they have that right. In fact, they'll punish people for even talking about it. Jurors tend to get dismissed from juries for admitting that they know about their nullification rights. And an attorney would probably be disbarred for ever mentioning it. Yeah, quite a line forming in there.
I'd like some information on jurors' rights.
Some information on jurors' rights.
Hi, sir, would you like some information on jurors' rights?
Sure.
Thank you.
So you've got a flyer, but you haven't had a chance to read it yet.
That's right.
Do you know anything about jury nullification?
I know it exists, but I really don't know anything about it.
So you're just going to read the flyer with an open mind, or?
Yeah.
If you were on a case and a judge told you to vote guilty, but you felt like the law was unjust, would you consider voting not guilty?
Would I consider if the law was unjust?
But the person was
I'm not prepared to answer that, but I would have to consider that strongly, sure.
All right, great. I appreciate your time. It would be Cheshire County, which includes Keene, is the only county in New Hampshire where every jury selection event is attended by fully informed jury activists.
The flyers advertise FIJA.org, the website
of the Fully Informed Jury Association, FIJA.org, or some people say FIJA.
You're just jealous.
Gives activists a chance also to note that Keene apparently has a new parking vehicle. How many of you are able to afford a new vehicle this week? Now, there's a little bit of drama going on while this calm thing is taking place, and Ian is returning from the drama. Did you find anything out about what's going on with the arrested Keene activists?
According to the court, they don't have any paperwork yet, and until they get their paperwork, they can't move ahead with any kind of an arraignment. So they haven't heard anything, basically, about Kurt. They said they'll know more by 9 a.m., so it's possible that the jailers just haven't even gotten there yet, and they haven't brought the paperwork,
So, Ian says we'll probably know more in the next 45 minutes about Kurt Hoffman, an activist who was arrested for a registration violation, thrown in the Cheshire County lockup apparently about the same time I was released, yesterday, July 12th. All right, thus far?
That's alright, I guess.
You find the idea interesting, or?
Yeah.
Had you ever heard the term jury nullification before?
No.
If you were like in a jury and you had the opportunity to vote not guilty because you just disagreed with the law, even though the person was guilty, would you consider doing it?
I don't know.
All right, thanks a lot. So the number of activists here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Really, probably more than they even need. These activists are actually technically with freekeene.com rather than FIJA.org. Only takes one determined juror insisting on a not guilty vote to trigger a hung jury situation and mistrial. So unlike at the ballot box, in the jury box, your vote really does count for something. Dave Ridley signing off for RidleyReport.com this July 12, 2009. From Keene, New Hampshire.
It is said, or certainly could be said, hell hath no fury like a well-intentioned government. Well, I don't know how good the intentions are over here, but I can tell you that the folks at the State House in Concord, New Hampshire are not interested in protecting your freedom for the most part. They're taking it away piece by piece. Fortunately, unlike in most states, they're not doing it without a fight. That is in large part due to the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance at nhliberty.org. Now, if you were to go into the State House there behind me and do this, you would hit one of the members of the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, because they're in there all over the place fighting for your freedom. They also offer free training if you want to learn the ways of the Citizen Freedom Lobby. Visit them at nhliberty.org.
Would you like some information about your rights, ma'am? Information the judge won't tell you? Thank you. Yep, up there, ma'am. You like some information about your rights, sir? Information the judge won't tell you? Thank you. Thank you. Would you like some information about your rights? Information the judge won't tell you? Thank you. Information about your rights? Thank you. Information about your rights, ma'am? Information the judge won't tell you? Thank you. Good morning, gentlemen. Would you like some information about your rights? Information the judge won't tell you? No. Thank you. Would you like some information about your rights, ma'am? Information the judge won't tell you? Thank you. Information about your rights, ma'am? Thank you. Afternoon, ma'am. Would you like some information about your rights? Information the judge won't tell you?
All right.
Thank you. Information about your rights, ma'am? Thank you. Some information about your rights, sir. Information the judge won't tell you. Thank you. Afternoon. We'd like some information about your rights. Information the judge won't tell you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sir? Okay. Thank you. Some information about your rights, sir. Information the judge won't tell you. Thank you. Some information about your rights, ma'am. Information the judge won't tell you. Thank you. Some information about your rights, sir. Thank you. Would you like some information about your rights, sir? Information about your rights. Information the judge won't tell you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Chris Goldthorpe, and I want to talk to you a little bit about an organization called FIJA, the Fully Informed Jury Association, www.florida.fija.org. The people who made our country had a brilliant vision, which was to have the government not invent our rights, but to protect them. And to that end, we had a separation of power of these different branches of government. And in addition, there's a built-in separation of power of the people themselves in all forms of government. And the jury system, the whole idea of being judged by a jury of your peers, is part of that end. And as such, the Fully Informed Jury Association has as its end to make sure the jurors and potential jurors know their rights. In particular, the fact that you have a right to vote your conscience when you're sitting on a jury. If you believe that a law is unfair, you have the right to tell them that you find the person innocent, that you're not convinced that the state has made its case. Or if you feel a law is being unfairly applied. The details and contact information you should go to the website for, but I would encourage you, if you are at all concerned with the state of affairs in the United States, you should become involved. I guarantee you that every single day people are being convicted in ways that you would not agree with. If you have the opportunity to sit on a jury, I hope that you will be entitled to your rights and be able to do what you think is the right thing. So I would encourage you to visit www.floridafija.org, find out about your rights as a juror, and if you can, to help with a donation or to help us distribute flyers and to help educate the public. Thanks for your time.
All right, we're here in front of the Cheshire County Courthouse. It's Sunday, April 5th at about 8, just after 8 a.m. Here with Sam, who's going to tell us a little bit about what's going down.
Right, so this is something one of the activists just decided to organize, and we're handing out FIJA brochures. That's the Fully Informed Jury Association at fija.org. And it's just some information on rights as a juror. We're giving these out to anybody. It's very important that we do that and not discriminate just for jurors or anything like that.
Just to underscore what Sam said, I mean, he's pointed out a few of the free staters around, but I mean, they're kind of strategically placed in every corner, so any way someone's going to come by, they're going to, be kindly asked if they wouldn't mind taking a pamphlet. Sam, could you tell us what jury nullification is?
Sure. Jurors, what everybody knows is that they're in there to decide whether the person's innocent or guilty. But what they're also supposed to decide is the merits of the case. They're supposed to judge not only guilt or innocence, but the law itself. And they're supposed to determine, is this a law that I want enforced in my community, as they did with Prohibition, and that was something that they decided eventually, no, we're not going to convict people on this, and they started nullifying the verdict, nullifying the laws, meaning by returning a not guilty verdict because they didn't morally agree with the law, they didn't think it was a good law, they were able to become a check on government and a check on bad laws by refusing to convict, and eventually it helped repeal Prohibition as well as slavery.
That's powerful.
It is.
Hi, my name is Betty Midland, and I'm a second-year criminal justice student. And I want to take a few minutes to talk to you a little bit about what I've learned about jury nullification. Prior to going back to school, I didn't even know that jury nullification was even something that existed in the criminal justice field. In fact, it was one small topic that we had to study last year is when I became aware of it, and I immediately did some research on it, and wound up at the Fully Informed Jury Organization in Helena, Montana, for which I'm very grateful that I did. I did not realize that as a prospective juror, we have such unlimited power under the Constitution to negate law, actually to even change law. But to back up here for a moment, jury nullification simply means that if you're on a jury and the defendant has a specific charge that you do not agree with, that you feel may be an immoral law, or that particular charge does not fit the crime for which the defendant is accused of committing, then you have the right, without any retribution from the court at any level, to nullify it and find that person not guilty. A lot of people that I have found, particularly my fellow classmates, are not comfortable with that. And I tend to strongly disagree with them. One of the arguments that came up is that if a defendant is guilty and a jury nullifies it, then he's going to get off scot-free. That's not necessarily the case. However, that's an argument for another video. There is one particular case that I would like to take a moment to share with you. In fact, I was able to have the entire most of the courtroom trial on tape, and some of the attorneys that were involved with that are on the video as well. And it was a case of income tax evasion. And although this is a rare case, it still worked. The situation was a farmer had been charged with income tax evasion because he had not paid his taxes for 4 years, and he wanted a jury trial. So 12 jurors, they went through the whole gamut. You know, they showed his income, the fact that he didn't file, and his argument was that there is nothing specific in U.S. Title 26 that states that he has to pay income taxes. So, of course, this was an extremely intricate case. However, the jury, when they were deliberating, sent a note to the judge and asked the judge if he could provide them with a specific law, a specific statute that stated that Americans have to pay income taxes. It took the judge 2 days, and he came back and told the jury that he could not find one. Now, this case happened a few years ago in Michigan. As a result, the jury found him not guilty, and there was absolutely nothing the judge could do, the prosecutor could do, and oh my God, there was nothing the IRS could do. That is a classic case of jury nullification. A lot of times you're not going to run into the issue of jury nullification because oftentimes, particularly in a criminal case, there will be more than one charge, and the jury will be instructed, you know, for example, if a defendant is being charged with second-degree murder, instructions can be given to the jury based on specific criteria that if they can't find him guilty or her guilty, more properly the defendant guilty on second-degree murder, they do have the option of finding the person guilty on involuntary manslaughter. So jury nullification over the years has done quite well in affecting overzealous prosecutors who would go into court. I'm only going to prosecute him for one thing, da 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 da. Jury nullification has, I believe, has gone far in breaking that backbone, and hence jurors having a second charge that they can find a defendant guilty of instead of the first one or the initial charge. The main thing is that we, as citizens of the United States, have a constitutional, ethical, and moral right and responsibility to judge the law that's being presented at trial, for which we are sitting on the jury for, and voting on it properly. Most states do not inform the jury that they have a right to nullify. The state where I live, fortunately, does. It's in their written jury instructions that you're given. I had just become a member of a fully informed jury organization, association, about 3 or 4 weeks before I got called for jury duty. And that was the first thing I looked for when they handed out the hand-printed jury instructions. And in this state, we are told that we have a right to judge the law according to our conscience. And so for that, I'm very grateful. If you are called to jury duty, it's best not to make it widely known that you believe in jury nullification, because that will get you off of a jury in a heartbeat. Don't use that as an excuse to get out of jury duty, because you never know when the tables are going to be turned on you and you're going to need a juror. However, know that you have the right, know the law, that you have a right, and that right has never been taken away, to judge the law according to your conscience, according to how it's being. If it's not being applied right at the trial for which you're sitting on the jury for, say so. Don't be intimidated to be a hung jury if you're the only one that's not agreeing with everybody else. If you really believe that, stick to it. Because it's that kind of determination and that kind of information and that kind of education that is going to help turn our justice system around. Again, I'm a second-year criminal law student. I've owned my own legal business since 2001, and I have to tell you, our judicial system is in need of fixing, and jury nullification is one of the first places to start. If you need or would like more information, please go to our website at fullyinformedjuryassociation.org. That's FIJA.org, and all of our information is there. If you want someone to talk to in your state, once you're at that site, go to the state contacts, and you'll be able to get in touch with us from there. This is it for this segment, and as I learn more and become more comfortable with doing videos, I will be doing more, and I'm also going to be doing some videos on news updates about jury nullification. We need the media. We need the social networking. We need to get this information out. Jurors have total power in the courtroom. The fate of that defendant lies solely with the jury. A very, very powerful group. And I'm proud to be an American. Thank you, and we will see you next time. For now, this is Betty Midland.